Hi, I'm Kathleen Krucoff, and I'm a jewelry designer and a metalsmith. Boulder Arts and Crafts thought that you would enjoy seeing my studio space and a little bit of how I do my work. So today I thought I would show you how I do some of my treescape designs. This will be a pair of earrings. This is one of my standard shapes. And I'm going to start with the initial phase of smoothing out the surface. So what I'm going to do is use a tool that's in my Dremel that creates the matte finish on a lot of my work. And I'm going to start up my dust collector system to protect my lungs. So this is showing the before and after, if you will. This has the kind of cross-hatch pattern that I use with that tool, and this earring has not been finished yet. So next thing is I'm going to draw the tree shape on the metal so that I can follow that with my saw blade. I'm also going to do a flush set on these of these little 2mm topaz that are a nice bright blue. So right now I'm gauging where that flush set stone's going to go, and from there I freehand the tree shape. And as I saw, I tend to be guided to go in different directions. So this is basically a guideline for me to get started, and then we see where the spirit moves me, so to speak, once I start creating them. So now I'm going to use this tool. It's called a punch, and I'm going to create a divot in the metal for a drill to fit in. And I like to do this in my leaves. And I drill the pilot hole that the saw blade will go through. So I've inserted the saw blade through the little hole that I created. All of my trees are created using a metal smithing technique called piercing, which just means you're sawing through the metal. And now I proceed to saw. Alright, so I finished cutting out the trees. It took roughly about 5 minutes. And now, as is my pattern, I deviated from my original line drawing, just realizing where I wanted to go with it. What I'm going to do now is take a little piece of sponge sandpaper and sand the front and the back of these just to clean up the edges. So now the next phase in this is going to be where I apply the texture for the leaves. I'm going to start up here at the top and just lightly move the tool across the surface of the metal. So I thought it would be beneficial to see an illustration of what this flush setting process is. What I'm going to do is I'm going to drill a hole completely through the metal. I'm going to use a ball burr to take away some more of the metal. And then lastly, I'm going to use a setting burr, and this is an exaggerated size for illustration purposes. The one I'll use is much smaller. But what this does is it creates a seat for the stone, and this section with the straight line is what's called the girdle of the stone, and it's designed to just sit inside that little seat that I will cut out with the settings burr. And then lastly, I'll come back in with a flush setting tool and push the metal over the top of the faceted stone so that it will go over that girdle. and hold the stone in place. And what we're doing right now is just trying to get metal removed to make room for the stone. And you go up. The next step is a ball burr that is designed to take away more metal. You can see I'm getting down a little bit further, creating a nice little opening. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to check these stones. I've got one put in, and I'm now putting the other one in just to see. And with the naked eye, even with my glasses, it's really hard to tell. This one is set down and it really looks like a good fit. And I am ready to get started setting these. So this little tool is one of the flush setting tools that I use. It's got a rounded tip, and my goal is to bend the metal over the crown of the faceted stone. And so do this on northeast and south positions of the stone. Sure. I can really. So now I'm doing the finishing touches. The stone is in place. I'm just ensuring that it's got a firm grip. I always check the back of the stone with a toothpick and try to push the stone through. And you can see it's not happening. The stone is seated and it is secured in there. We've got a good setting. So the next step is to put the ear wires on. Again, fairly simple process as long as you got the right tools. And we now have a completed pair of treescape earrings. I hope you've enjoyed this. I've certainly enjoyed welcoming you into my studio, and it's been a lot of fun to share this. I know we're all kind of in a bit of self-quarantine right now, and it's one of the things that I'm happy to do to let you know how I enjoy working in my studio. Thanks for visiting.